everybody, it's the Interview Queen Alicia Atout here, and you are currently listening to and obviously enjoying Queen's Court.
Hi, I'm the Asian sensation Kanji. You're listening to Queen's Court.
Hi guys, this is the Queen of Queens Visage talking, and I am so happy to introduce you to the Queen's Court.
All right, everyone, welcome to this very special episode of Queen's Court, Queeny Chats. As you may have just heard, as we're introducing here with the little music, I have a queen, the Interview Queen, back here with me in the castle. Queen's Court, she's here. Miss Alicia Atout, how are you?
Hi, I'm very happy to be back. I'm doing very, very well, and I'm really happy that we're able to do this again.
Yeah, me too. I was so excited to hear from you, and I was like, oh my gosh, my favorite. I get to talk to her again. It was such a pleasure speaking with you last time, and very popular interview. You were my #1 downloaded interview episodes, obviously, because who doesn't love the Interview Queen?
Ooh la la, I like it.
People are very interested in what you have to say, so that's an awesome thing.
Let's give them some more.
Why don't we? We just love when two queens get together, don't we? So, Alicia, since last we spoke, I actually got to meet you at StarCast 3 all-out weekend in Chicago, which was an absolute pleasure. How was that experience for you that weekend? Because I know it wasn't your first rodeo in terms of those events.
Yeah, I think that was my third StarCast, and it was a lot of fun. Those are always a good time. It's always a nice reunion, like seeing tons of friends there, and then just meeting fans. Like I love that. It's one of my favorite parts of this job is the fact that like it's surreal because as I'm meeting them, like, oh gosh, like I have fans. That's awesome. So it's really fun. I enjoy those events a ton.
Yeah, it was so cool, and it was my first one, a super cool experience, and AEW has just been on a literal roller coaster fast train ride ever since then. Starting on television, and here we are now in 2020, and things have changed for the Interview Queen. And when I saw this news come out for you, first of all, congratulations on signing with MLW.
Thank you so much.
Cool. You are welcome. What happened? I was like, saw this news and I'm like, oh my God, it's MLW. I'm so excited. Not that I didn't expect it, but I just was so excited for you when I saw this come out.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was so exciting. They reached out to me a little while ago and they just kind of were so sweet and so nice and just said they like what I do. And I was like, hey, I like what you do. And so they flew me out to a set of tapings we did in New York back in December, and it just went so well. I think we wanted to kind of test the waters and see if they were happy with what I provided and to make sure I was happy and comfortable there. And the weekend literally didn't even end. We were like on the first day and we already had talks about signing. So it felt really good that they wanted me. They saw the skill set that I was able to bring to the company and the fact that I love the locker room. I have so many friends there and I feel like so respected and comfortable there. It is so awesome. I feel like I've like officially found like my wrestling home and it feels so good.
Oh my gosh, that's like the best to hear. When we had been talking before on our previous interview about how, you were thinking about maybe that would be something in your future, right? Being with one place and that was something you would be open to. And now here you are and you feel like it's home. Oh, that's like the best. Is there anything better? And then you're in your professional life, right? You're doing what you love to do and you actually love the environment in which you're working in.
Yeah, it's extremely surreal. Like there are days I step back after like a day of putting merch together, organizing interviews, confirming upcoming bookings. Like it's still all DIY. It's still all just me behind the scenes. And I'll take a step back and realize like, oh, this is super cool. And then on top of that, the fact that as an interviewer, I was signed on and locked down somewhere. Like it's really surreal for me and super cool. And I'm very grateful that they took a chance on me and with me, and like I couldn't be more happy with my decision because we've done 2 sets of taping so far. I think a total of like 5 days together, and it hasn't been long by any means, but I already feel so at home. Like I just walk in and I'm already, like walking through the door. Like it's not awkward, or I don't feel like I'm being treated any differently. Like it's really, really lovely.
Oh, that's really cool to hear. Awesome, and as people who love to watch MLW, like that's just such a nice thing to hear about the company that you love to support, right? That's awesome to hear that backstage behind the scenes. Like, yeah, it's good. I feel good, and I'm happy with that choice. And then I know it's only been, like you said, 2 tapings, but how does it feel, I guess, now that you're locked down in one company or in one place? And yeah, you're still doing all your own things behind the scenes, but does it feel different to you now that you like MLW, like that's it?
It does feel different because now I feel like I have that one spot that like I'm always repping. Like I sent a tweet out earlier how I'm literally living in my MLW hoodie, and it's because it's just like I have a different sense of pride. Like it's really cool when you get to do one-offs and people bring you on for their shows. Like I'm so grateful for every opportunity I've been given. But now that I have this like one place that I'm at, 'cause I signed like a multi-year contract, like I know it's going to be for a while. I'm like, all I want to do is be proud and rep it because I have nothing to really sweat while I'm there. It feels right. And like I remember looking at that paper before signing it. Well, it was digital, but I remember looking at it, the contract, and like for like half an hour before signing it, just thinking like, whoa, it's happening. Like it was a roller coaster of emotions. And the fact that it happened, and like I was happy every step of the way with how I was treated and how things are going to be going forward. It's I'm stoked. It's really cool.
It is really cool. So joining the broadcast team, so
Yes.
you'll be doing backstage stuff. What all is, I guess, your official role in MLW for those who may not know?
Yeah, so I mean, I mainly label it just to kind of make it easy, just as like TV host, because I'll do in-ring promos, backstage stuff. I do sit-down interviews now. Like they kind of changed a bit of the format of the show because now they have me there, which is really cool. Like I don't mean the format is in like how they actually edit it or anything, but they've added stuff for me, which is awesome. So now I like on the last episode, I did a sit down with Brian Pillman before he went into the finals of the Opera Cup, and like it's really cool that they see the value I bring and they know my skill set, and they're like, okay, well we have her, like let's actually utilize her. Like it used to drive me crazy sometimes going to shows and just sitting around and being like, I'm here, like hello, and I don't mean that by any means in like an ungrateful bratty way. I mean like if I'm coming to someone's promotion to work, I would love to be put to work because that's what I'm there for, So they put me to work in like an awesome way where I'm just kind of like, ooh, all right, like this is great. Yeah, I have no complaints, which is weird because like going into it, even though it seemed all like hunky dory and I'm really happy to be there, you'd think there'd be something where, because it is work, you think there'd be something where you're like, oh, I wish that would change, but I'm like really happy there, so yeah.
Well, good. And that's really cool that they're giving you these opportunities to kind of create your own stuff. Like I'm here, now let's utilize me and I'm gonna get to do these new things. I think that's really special and fun. There's a lot of places and other types of jobs all across the world that, you get kind of stuck in one little role, one area, and they don't let you allow you to be creative or more so go outside the box, try something new. And I think that's really cool to hear.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect. So going into it like anything, I don't want to use the word like skeptical, but you go into it not knowing what to expect with new stuff like this. And I remember leaving those first tapings just happy. And I'm like, whoa, this feels weird. Like, should I be this stoked after like just one taping with a company? But it felt different and it felt right. And like I knew in the end there would be some papers being signed, and so yeah, I'm glad with the decision.
Yeah, that's awesome. And, indie wrestling right now, I'm sure you have your own opinion on it being actually, involved, but indie wrestling right now, I feel like it's the hottest it's ever been. 2019 was a crazy, crazy year for indie wrestling, and we're moving into 2020, and I only see it growing exponentially. What's so special in your opinion, both, as someone who's been involved in so many different companies and doing all sorts of things that you do in your interviews and your YouTube channel and your website, what do you think is special about MLW in particular?
I think that there's a certain level of grit that comes with the brand that's really exciting. Like I mentioned this, I don't know if it was on Twitter or somewhere, and I was just saying how like a lot of our stuff's improvised and super fun that way. So it's like, yeah, you have to keep the storylines going, and like you have points that you have to get across, of course. But you can kind of go with the flow on stuff, which is really fun. Like they allow you to have your input, they allow you to speak your mind if you don't really feel like, if you think you can improve on something, you're not looked down upon if you open your mouth, like, so that was awesome for me. They're very welcoming in that sense, and some of the best stuff just comes from riffing. So the fact that you don't have to stick to that script all the time, you come up with like some really random hilarious stuff when you're just like shooting the shit in these promos. So I think that's become my favorite part so far, aside from the environment and people. It's just being able to kind of do what we want within reason, and make it just really fun.
Yeah. One of my favorite parts of MLW, or I guess one of my favorite people in MLW, is Myron Reed. I just like to watch him wrestle a lot. So I'm just like, oh my God, and now you're there. As if I didn't have enough reason to watch anyway for the wrestling. Now you're there. I just think it's the coolest. But of these people on this roster that you're working with, who do you think is like the people that the fans and the wider community should keep their eye on in MLW?
Oh, that's so tricky because like the awesome thing about it is we have people who've been in the industry for a while to give advice, like Conan and Savio Vega and Loki. We have people like that who everyone has their eyes on because they're just so well known and respected, and they're giving us these like locker room chats, where we're all kind of like sitting there taking stuff away from them. So I feel like everyone else is like up and coming or newer, or they have a really good platform now to get their names out there because of MLW. So like I don't want to single out like anyone in specific, but like when it comes to mine, because we were just in Dallas, I mean, when the Von Erichs came out, it was so significant because of their family lineage, like being in Texas. And the way the crowd responded to them, like, holy shnikes, they went wild for these guys. Like it was amazing to see. So like that, since it's just so recent, like that comes to mind. Those guys, like you can't sleep on them. They're amazing. But that was really cool for me to see.
Yeah, I can imagine. So I saw that too, and I was like, oh God, like you just feel that warm reception, and that's something really special about the Von Erichs. They're really cool to watch wrestle. But when they enter a building like that and it's in Texas, I don't think it gets much louder or more exciting, right?
No, it was nuts.
I can imagine. So upcoming show in Philly, Fightland.
Yes.
You're gonna be there.
I am live in action.
Live in action. Very exciting. So I just want to make sure everyone knows that pay-per-view is coming up for MLW in February, I believe. Correct? The 1st? Is that right?
Yeah, so it's February 1st. We're doing some tapings for MLW Fusion there. So if you happen to be in the area, if you want to do a nice little road trip on down to Philadelphia, we're gonna be there, and it's gonna be awesome. As you can tell, I'm very excited about this company. The wrestling is awesome. They've given me the opportunity to do some live segments, which is super cool. Like I'm mic'd up and everything. Yeah, like earpieces and all. Like it's super fun. So
wow, you're official.
Oh yeah, no, it's cool. So that kind of stuff goes on if you want to see me, and then we all go out. Most of us go out before the show and after just to meet fans, say hello, sign stuff. So yeah, it's gonna be a great show. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, and it's coming up like in a week, so that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's coming up so soon. I feel like I was
so
just
fast.
taping. I feel like I just left tapings with them in Dallas, and now we're like, oh, new show, okay.
All right, gear up. Here we go. I know. It's crazy. I feel like there's so many shows and so many things, but I just want to make sure people are absolutely checking that out on the 1st of February, MLW Fightland. It's going to be can't miss. I promise you that. It's going to be a good time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So not only are you doing this, but you're still doing your interview queenness, that you're putting out your own interviews. You just did one with B. Priestley,
yes.
Which was excellent, by the way.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. What are you up to for 2020 in terms of your interviews? Who are you looking to have on? What are you thinking about doing? Because you're still doing, of course, everything else that you do. Which
Right.
is a
Yeah.
lot, girl. You got a lot going on.
Yeah, it's busy, but it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's really cool that MLW still give me that opportunity where I can interview talent from any other company for my channel. Like they aren't weird about that at all, which is amazing. So yeah, I just want to grow. I want to keep growing, keep getting better, keep honing my craft, become an even better interviewer. Um, I mean, even the little things, like I really started trying to look better when I do this stuff, which sounds like so. No, I mean, I'm being honest. Like, it sounds stupid and like minute, but it hit me like, oh, okay, I'm actually like gonna be on TV, and now MLW are looking at different TV deals come like the springtime, and I'm
Right.
like, oh gosh, like I want to prove like, all right, you made the right choice. Like she looks the part and everything. So like even little things like that, from like making more effort in that regard and all that kind of stuff. But interview wise, I just want some just to keep growing really my channel. I really want to interview The Rock and Cena, which sounds like I
Woo!
know that's a big get, but I've had a lot of stuff I never thought I'd ever have. So I'm almost like, nothing's out of the question. Like fingers crossed, some cool stuff can happen. So yeah, it's really just to keep hustling, keep doing indie shows, and keep growing.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. If you got Rock and Cena, I would just be beside myself if like excited for you. I'm not doing anything. I'm just gonna watch and enjoy it, but I'll be like freaking out for you because I just think that's the coolest. But if anybody can do it, honey, you can. I believe in you.
Thank you.
You're
Fingers
welcome.
crossed, eh?
Fingers crossed, right? What is it like talking to B Priestley? I brought that up earlier. That one was really, really special. I think it's your most recent that you put out, right? I think so.
I think so, yeah.
I think so, yeah. What was that like?
It was
She's a
cool.
huge, huge name.
Yeah, she was really fun to have on. She was really sweet. I started this new segment, which that one was featured in, called Catching Up With, because I was starting to realize, like, I only really interview at shows. I do it in person, whether it's my vlogs or my sit
Mhm.
downs. And I'm like, there's a whole other world of people that I can't interview because, like, they live abroad and I live away from them. So, yeah, I just came up with this idea to have people on my site over Skype where we can actually still, like, have fun and shoot the breeze, but we don't have to be in the same place. So when she said yes, I was like, oh, that's sick. Like, and yeah, she was just awesome. She wasn't in any rush. She took her time. She had some really great stories to share, and it was like a very enjoyable conversation.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I know a lot of people on Twitter that when I said I was talking to you wanted to know like who's sort of on your list this year that you'd like to get. So we heard two, we heard the big ones. Who are some other people you're looking to speak with this year?
It's weird because like those are the main ones
Mm-hmm.
simply because I feel like they've eluded me, and it's not that I ever think like, oh, I deserve it. Like that's not what I'm saying. It's
Right.
just like I just haven't got them, and I've seen people get them, and I'm like, I need that. So they're like really the ones I'm really looking at. But I want to get back doing some more music stuff actually. Not that I ever like
Ooh.
left it, but that's how I started, and I have a lot of like friends bands coming through this year and a lot of really cool things lined up. So that's going to be happening more, and yeah, I guess it's just wait and see who says yes. That's a big part of it too.
Well, we'll just keep ourselves tuned in. And speaking of music, what's in your current playlist rotation? What are you listening to right now?
Oh gosh, my playlist rotation. I've been listening to a lot of like bands like Orison and Rooney, like a lot of very like early 2000s stuff. And then on top of that, like a lot of I've been listening to a ton of Beatles lately. And
Oh, nice.
they've always been in rotation. Like I've been a Beatles fan since I was a kid, but like at dinner time with my family, like we'll listen to a lot of that now, and that's kind of always playing. And then I have my days where I just want to listen to like a lot of chick music. I don't know why I've been back into that, but maybe I've been emotional lately. But I've been listening to a lot of like Liz Phair and Juliana Hatfield and Sheryl Crow, like all that kind of stuff. So don't know why, but those have kind of been some of the people I've been jamming to.
I love a good Sheryl Crow song.
Ah, yes.
So good.
So good.
She's like it's special. You turn that on and just I don't know, something else comes out of you. I feel like you're like,
Oh my
yes,
gosh. I just want to be her so bad when I sing those songs. Like,
right?
I don't know what it is about her, but there's something about like the tone in her voice and her guitar playing. Like, she is one of the best singer-songwriters out there, and there's so much emotion in her tracks. Like, oh, I could go on for forever. I want to go on stage with Sheryl Crow and just like sing and cry. It'd be so great.
New goal for Alicia Atout. Get on stage with Sheryl Crow.
Yeah.
Hey, you never know, right? You never know.
You
Um,
really don't.
you really don't these days. It could happen. I have a question for you from Chris, and his Twitter is black_Baymax8. He wants to know your go-to song when you're feeling down, or in a good mood, or even when you're cleaning. What do you turn on?
Okay, so yeah, when I'm sad, I always listen to a band called The Used, like just one of the best emo groups of all time. They have this song called All That I've Got, which their lead singer actually wrote when his dog passed away. And earlier last year in January, my dog passed away, one of them. And so I listened to that song probably way too many times, because it just connected with me really hard, and I've loved that song since I was a kid, and now it means even more to me just because of the significance. So that is like my go-to song for when I'm sad, because you can be sad about anything, and if you're screaming your lungs out along with Burt McCracken, you feel liberated. So
Yes,
I'd have to go
agreed.
with that. Yeah. Oh, you're a Used fan too?
I am a Used fan, yes.
Oh, I
The
love
best emo of all time. I can't.
I love
My
them
husband's
so
come out.
much. I cried after interviewing them because I just like they mean so much to me. They got me through so much bullshit growing up, like for school and bullying and everything. Like I just love them. So anyway, shout out to The Used.
Yes, the Used. What about when you're in a good mood?
Oh right, I was so focused on being a sad
That's
little kid.
okay. It's okay. I understand.
When I'm in a good mood, I listen to Steel Panther because nothing's more bitchin' than some Steel Panther.
Great choice. Oh my gosh. I love that.
Yeah.
Love good music tastes here on Queen's Court. I don't get to talk music enough. I need to start branching out because it's just so much fun.
Oh, it's awesome. It's like, I don't know why, but music just makes everyone, it's the one thing you can relate on. Like, everyone likes music. Not everyone might like wrestling, but everyone likes music. And if you don't, you're a sociopath.
I mean, right? I totally agree. Thoughts on Lizzo, just as a side question.
Oh, okay. So a lot of like more popular music like that, I'm not a huge fan of.
Yeah.
I remember I was watching, I mean, like radio hits and stuff nowadays. Like
Sure,
I kind of
sure.
tune out of that stuff. But then I was listening. I don't remember what it was off of, but I was watching some show, and that like, oh shit, I don't even know what it's called. But they're like, I do my hair toss,
Yes.
like that song came
Good
on.
as hell.
And I was
Yes.
like, yeah, that's it. And I was like, ooh shit, like this is a good tune. So yeah,
Yep.
I like a couple songs of hers. I think I've quoted a couple, because she has some really good lyrics.
Right? I know.
Really good. So yeah, shout out Lizzo. I'm trying to listen to you more.
Right? I know. I'm not really on the radio either, but she's just something special because you're right. Those lyrics, I'm like, oh, girl, yes. I feel like I'm powered. Girl
Right.
power. I'm all about that.
Yeah, no, it's I really enjoy a couple tracks by her.
Yeah, same. I have another question for you.
Yes.
From MGB Graham at MGB Graham. He says, as a dad with a 12-year-old son who is a huge wrestling fan and has his own podcast, which is MGB Wrestling Pod, he said, what is the best advice you can give to someone producing wrestling content with you also starting so young? Maybe could be things to definitely do or pitfalls to avoid.
I think the biggest thing is to accept no as an answer within reason. There are times where you'll get really mad and upset when people tell you no for interviews. I mean, I definitely have been there, but there comes a point where you have to take a step back, accept the fact that you were given a no, and then that should light the fire underneath your bum to really want to go after that same goal and eventually get it. Nothing is more gratifying than being told no and then coming back to that same person and getting a yes, or even more so, them seeing your growth and coming to you offering that same thing they told you no to. So just keep at it, because it can take 100 no's. So many doors can be slammed in your face, but all it takes is that one yes or that one door to open, and you can be set. So it's as cheesy as it sounds. Good old Cena says it best: never give up. Like, we really got to keep on trucking, because this industry is hard, and I've been in music and wrestling, and they're both tough as nails. So you kind of have to be tough as nails too, and you can't always be. Sometimes I have days where I just want to like break down, but some days I'm so thankful and happy that I stuck with it, and really cool things can happen if you do.
Yeah, I think that's super good advice. And just like whatever it is that you're doing, don't give up. Keep at it, because you never know what happens when you put forth your best effort. I think great things can happen. And I mean, look at you. You've had a really awesome career so far, and you're so young, and you have so much more ahead of you. And that has to feel so great to be where you are now and be like, wow, like I did that. And you could be really proud of yourself for it.
Yeah, it's been surreal. Like, I often think about that, like, 12-year-old girl listening to the Used, like,
Yeah.
crying her eyes up, thinking like that nothing's going her way, and like people might never connect with her because of whatever reasons. And then I kind of step away from thinking about that and see where I've come and how I've grown and how I still have a lot more growing to do. But it's really gratifying and very surreal. Like, I'm thankful for every opportunity I've been given, and that's why, looking back at places I've been or people I've met, like, regardless of where you end up or how you end up being, like, you have to kind of try to accept and enjoy every step of the way, because all those little moments tie together and help make you and get you to where you are and who you are. Which sounds so, I'm like just full of words of wisdom and cliches right now, but it's so true. Like, I did so much reflecting heading into 2020.
Sure.
New year, new decade. I feel like I grew so much, and then I realized, like, I still got a lot of growing to do and a lot of learning, but like, you can kind of take that step back and realize, oh yeah, all right, stuff's pretty cool, stuff's all right.
Yeah, I totally, I feel like we need to like really take that step back. I have to do that myself, and really just reflect, take a moment, look at what you have, look at where you want to go, and really kind of vision board that a little bit. It is cliche, but you know what? That stuff works. I'm telling you.
No, because sometimes you're so stuck in the way that things are going, and like, you can have so many great things coming your way, and you're just like running through them all, just not just to get them done, but just because like you're so busy. And I remember it was doing tapings, having a really big influencer campaign come my way, and then signing and being like, I did all those things, and yes, I enjoyed them along the way, but like, I never really let it soak in. Then one night I was laying in bed after like watching telly with my family, and I just like started crying. I was like, oh my God, I did all those things. Like, it just didn't hit me until that moment for whatever reason. So yeah, try to enjoy it as it comes, but if you can't, just because you're like me and you're frazzle brained, take some kind of moment to let everything sink in.
Yeah, absolutely. And one more question for you, just from coming from me as a podcaster and someone who's in this world, what advice can you give for interviews or talking to people in the business that you have? Some maybe tips and tricks, because I think you're one of the best out there in terms of your flow of conversation and the way you're able to do things. I think is really special and unique. There's, like I said, only a few out there that I think nail it really well, and you're one of them. So I'd love to know what you would suggest for that.
Oh, thank you so much. Honestly, I've said it before, but I always call myself like a professional stalker, because when I go into my interviews, I'll look someone up for like 3 years back on their Twitter or their Instagram, and I'll try to find little nuggets of things that they love or that they enjoy. And I find the more personal and the more personable you make your interviews, the more fun your guest ends up having. So I just say go into it wanting to have fun, wanting to have a good time. Try to put the nerves aside, which sometimes is way easier said than done.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be a hypocrite. Like, sometimes it's hard, but try and just have a good time with it. I find like the days I go into tapings or interviews with my like head held up high, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Like I did my research, I'm happy, I'm ready to go. Like those always end up being the best interviews, because it's infectious. So yeah, I guess that's my advice.
Well, I think that's great advice. And
well, thank you.
well, I mean, listen, you're the interview queen, right? If you're going to ask anybody for advice, then you would be the one. What can I say? So as we look for 2020, we're only in January, which it's like, on one hand, I feel like, oh my God, 2019 flew by. And on the other hand, I'm like, oh my God, it's been 2020 for how long already? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
As we're looking forward to 2020, what are you most excited for?
Whew, I'm honestly most excited for growing my site and my name through whatever avenues that may be, and just traveling a lot more. I keep having to remind myself, like, oh, it is 2020. Like, I'm going to England for the first time because of my job in April, which is nuts.
Wow.
Yeah, like, it's crazy. I have so many really cool things coming up. So, I mean, I think I'm just most excited for travel, for getting bigger, for getting better, and just like I want to have more fun this year. Like last year was so much fun, and I want to keep at that.
Yeah, 2020, the year of fun. I'm here for that. I'm here for it. I hope it happens for you. Obviously, I want to say thank you so much for coming back on Queen's Court for a chat. It's always a pleasure speaking with you. You're so kind and generous, and it's been really, truly so much fun, to use our word for 2020, but it's true. It's been so much fun. Can you please let the people know where they can find you and follow you on this awesome new journey for you in 2020?
Yes. All you guys have to do is go to aliciaatout.com, and there you will find my Facebook, my Twitter, my Instagram, along with YouTube, where I have tons of vlogs, sit-down interviews, along with Q&As, like a bunch of really random fun stuff. So be sure to check all of that out, and also watch MLW on Saturday night. You guys can watch it on YouTube at 6:05 p.m. Eastern, or if you have BN Sports, if you have that channel, we are on at 9 p.m. Eastern on Saturdays. So yeah, it's going to be a busy year. So if you guys happen to know me before this interview, please keep on supporting. It means so much to me. And if you are just discovering who I am, hopefully you liked what you heard. And hello, I'm Alicia. And just thank you so much for having me on here. This was so much fun.
Oh my gosh, you are welcome anytime that you want. Anytime. It's been a super pleasure. And for everybody listening, please enjoy the rest of your day, and please be kind to one another.